What's happening this week in Warcraft? Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more coverage, and watching me wherever I'm live. The race to World First is over, with Team Liquid nailing a decisive kill late into their evening. I'll see you in 2028 when this enters Legacy mode. It's gonna be epic. Let's highlight the bigger hotfixes from this week. The guild achievement spam has finally been fixed. For those of you who missed it, guilds with certain achievements would re-earn them again and again and again, causing all sorts of confusion. Unfortunately, the bug of having tons of people logging off and on at once, that persists, which I think is the greater issue, as it causes momentary lag and no doubt has ruined any number of encounters or keys or matches. Folks might have noticed over the weekend, but the Merodar Fishing Derby got a bit of a fix in its rewards. An earlier hotfix made it so the entire warband could participate in the derby, but only received 3 marks to be used on goodies and cosmetics. That's since been up to 10, which is nice, but not so nice for anyone rushing to get the coolest rewards sooner than later. Now they gotta feel like they gotta run this on multiple characters. And personally, I agree with some of these critics. Like, I'm cool settling for 25 per week on the whole account, but, well, the derby presents itself as evergreen content, and yeah, I'll just get these eventually. The raid is receiving numerous nerfs to the Broodmaster, Kai'Veza, and Ansurek fights with respect to teams closer to the minimum group size, meaning no changes for full groups, but smaller teams should see lower health values, less incoming damage, and fewer mechanics to deal with. The Zekvir fight also got a nerf. I'll give a mini guide later in the video, but the major changes include health reductions, with longer and more predictable cast times if you're taking this dude on solo. Before, the boss had set intervals between casts, which made it impossible for some classes to interrupt or act defensively. Now they can, which turns this fight into a sort of class mastery encounter if going at it alone. US Realm should expect a 2-hour maintenance according to Blizzard's announcement. 2 hours, which translates to, I don't know. When realms are up, we'll be introduced to the first Delves bonus event. Wowhead Data Mining identified what this is so far, but there could be more, and this could change by the time realms are up. But we can see the Delver's journey progress. Companion experience and undercoin gains go up by 25%. That means from completing a level 8 Bountiful Delve, we'll get over 56,000 XP for Bran and almost 200 points towards our Delver's journey progress. The progress is something I encourage people to not stress over too much. I mean, yeah, it unlocks more cosmetics and then the ability to buy bountiful keys, but I should explain how this works. At the end of the Delver's journey, you can buy keys at a discount of 1,000 undercoin instead of 2,000, which seems cool at first, but to buy them you need to spend undercoin, which is earned from clearing higher tier delves and defeating the packs of mobs empowered by Zekvir's influence, and these delves need to be bountiful runs, which need keys. I haven't done the math, but basically the perks of buying keys benefits alts, who can be funneled the undercoins to buy keys for a strong head start with champion gear, at least until you run out of undercoins, and then we're back into this loop. So it's more keys, but not exactly a freebie. In a way, we can look at this as not a perk, but more of a dump for undercoins that we no longer need, and we're not sure what's going to happen with them in Season 2. Even though we haven't seen this event start yet, as some early feedback, I think it'd be pretty cool if there was extra leveling XP that came from Delves, or maybe a chance at getting a free Delver's bounty. Now let's go over Zekvir. This is a general and not an in-depth guide on how to take on the normal version of this guy. To unlock him, you need to clear one tier 8 delve. It doesn't have to be bountiful, with lives remaining. To unlock an even harder version of him, complete a tier 10 delve with lives remaining. If you're wondering when's a good time to take him on, I say give it a shot when you can meet the unlock requirements solo. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You die and, it kind of tells you where you're at. Speaking of where, he's located here in southwest Ajkehet. The delve is a straightforward single encounter, so like I said, you can challenge him anytime, not unlike the Mage Tower. He deals moderate to heavy melee damage and has a few area abilities to avoid because they'll most likely kill you. Claw Smash is a large cone attack that basically one-shots you if you're hit. Angler's Web is a thin cone, or maybe a line attack that pulls you in and it slows you if it doesn't immediately kill you. Enfeebling Spittle is a cast which will apply a very nasty damage over time, which again will likely kill you if not kicked, and more on that later. And Horrendous Roar is a point-blank AoE to run out of. It'll fear you if it doesn't immediately kill you. There's a pattern here. And finally, he spawns a web terror, which is a bit hard to see from the footage here. You're going to have to kind of watch your screen for like a silhouette like this that indicates where a spider egg is going to spawn. This is a lot of what the fight's based around, needing to destroy this egg before it hatches while avoiding the AoE attacks, and maybe while interrupting enfeebling spittle. If the egg hatches, an ad will spawn with about double the remaining health of the egg. It casts a really nasty spell that hits very hard and it stuns you for 6 whole seconds, so you're pretty much dead. The fight is mostly decided with the egg. If you and Bran are unable to destroy this egg in time, it doesn't mean the fight's impossible to do, but it's an indicator you're not doing enough throughput for this encounter, because the ad brings a lot more complexity to the fight. If you do encounter it, find some other way to interrupt its cast, by maybe a stun or a knockback. I mentioned enfeebling spittle. It's an ability that you can interrupt, but you can also use certain abilities to negate it, and Bran can technically cleanse it every minute if you lack abilities or if you misclick. The debuff is technically magical, and it limits your movement speed as well as does damage, meaning any ability that frees you from movement impairing effects or magic effects will work. Tank classes have a pretty short cooldown in their spell interrupt abilities, and healer specs can immediately cleanse it, but here's a list of other class abilities that are effective. I'll just leave this here on screen. It's a good idea to do this fight with Bran as a healer spec, but use throughput curios like the Porcelain Arrowhead Idol and the Amorphous Relic. The Final Will or Brute Force Idol, they're powerful, but they're difficult to control in an encounter like this, and they can't be relied on during what might be a long fight if this is your first time trying it out. As you get used to the routine, maybe you want to consider switching him to DPS for higher damage against the egg, but keeping him as a healer will help you tremendously with self-sustain and the occasional cleanse. As ranged, you never want to be terribly far away from the boss, so it's easy to avoid the shockwaves and the fears, and then switch to the egg immediately when it spawns. Melee will have a bit harder of a time with the egg because sometimes he'll spawn an egg pretty far away, and while switching he'll do his big old shockwave and it might be too wide for you to dodge. Some tanks might have it even rougher, trying to deal enough damage to destroy the egg before it hatches. Defeating the boss is mostly about outlasting his abilities while you and Bran wear him down. It's also an ad-killing fight, and that's where you may want to concentrate DPS cooldowns early on or come back with better gear or a higher level Bran. Control of the ad means an eventual victory, and completing this is equivalent to clearing a tier 8 delve, so good luck. In other events, South Shore vs Terran Mill is the brawl, and in Mythic Plus world, it's a tyrannical fortified week, as opposed to the recent fortified tyrannical week. I hope you get that. This week's affix was Oblivion, where crystals need to be intercepted before reaching the enemy. A round of additional hotfixes applied to this where crystals would spawn in weird places, and that felt like suicide, or it just felt really dangerous to run into, but it should no longer be the case. 2 affixes remain to be seen, which is crazy. We're only entering the 3rd week of Mythic Plus. Voidbound is one where an ad just needs to be killed immediately, and there's Devour, which is sort of like Afflicted, only it's players and not a separate NPC. At the time of this video releasing, it's the last day of the month, meaning new trading post tomorrow. Make sure you've wrapped up any tasks for the month to complete your Traveler's Log, claim your tender, and prepare to spend or save. And also, don't be forgetful like me. You need to clear 2 delves to knock out that first box in the Great Vault to get an extra piece of maybe Veteran all the way up to Hero gear, including Tier. That's going to be it for this week so far, but let's keep our eyes open for surprises or another PTR build and so much more. Please like this video, subscribe for more coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. It's a trading post week, so here's Bob to close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
Hey look, it's a new month, come and join me. We're gonna do collect these. Cause tender is my breakfast, tender's what I breathe. Tender is the loot I collect from the corpses. Tender's running through my veins, tender's both my pleasure and pain. It's like coffee, tender's in my cup. Suddenly it's not cause I bought things. Check me on my badass broomstick mount. Got my tender than your mama can count on.